going to be successful. Some days you will have to stay up 3 days in a row. Because if you go to sleep, you might miss the opportunity to be successful. That's how bad you got to want it. You got to go days without, listen to me, you got to want to be successful so bad that you forget to eat. Beyonce said once she was on the set doing her thing, 3 days had gone by, she forgot she didn't eat. But she was engaged. I'll never forget when 50 Cent was doing his movie, I did a little research on 50, and 50 said that when he wasn't doing the movie, he was doing the soundtrack. And they said, when do you sleep, 50? Sleep, he said, sleep. Sleep is for those people who are broke. I don't sleep. Second, most of you won't be successful because when you're studying and you get tired, you quit. And I'm here to tell you today, if you got somebody came to my office the other day crying, I said, look, don't cry to give up, cry to keep going. Don't cry to quit. You already in pain, you already hurt, get a reward from it. Don't go to sleep until you succeed. Listen to me, I'm here to tell you today that you can come here, you can jump up, you can do flips, you can be excited when we give away money, but listen to me, you'll never be successful until I don't have to give you a dime to do what you do. Today that there's some of you, if you give up your cell phone, you will be successful. But your cell phone is more important to you than your success. I'm going to say it again. I'm going to hurt somebody. I'm going to hurt somebody. Some of you need to give up your cell phone because the time you spend on your cell phone could be used for your success. The time you could be using to be successful, you're using it on the cell. And the cell phone is not bringing you nothing but a bill. And somebody has told you you couldn't live without it. I'm talking about going deep now, giving up stuff. Watch what it says. To be able at any moment to sacrifice what we are for what we can be. I don't do well in math. You're right. You ain't never studied.
Yeah.
So I guess we wanted to start on that note. Just kind of wake everybody up. You know, if you're not already woke from the messages that you've received today already. My name is Rashad McCants. I was a professional basketball player in the NBA for 4 years with the Minnesota Timberwolves. I went to the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, same place Michael Jordan went to. And I was an All-American, jersey in the rafters. I came out as the 14th pick in the NBA draft. I was a very good player. But like any athlete, there's always a perception of who we are because of what we do. And we are entertainers, essentially. But the label of dumb jock is thrown around a lot because all we have and all we are athletes. And the moment I was out of the NBA, the moment that I had to make a decision on what the next steps in life were, that's when life really starts to become real. Because we follow our dreams. The dreams of being this or being that, wanting to be a Michael Jordan or Beyonce or anybody that we see that are successful. And my upbringing, becoming an athlete was never a decision for me. It was never something that I sat down and spoke to my mom about and said, I want to be an NBA player. This was just something as a kid that we were thrown into. This was, hey, this is an AAU program, would you go play? Just to take time, pass time. And as things started to progress and I started to get better and better, it still became a part of what I was doing. There was never any goal set. And I began to get so good at it that every expected step from the peers around me became a reality for me. So going to college was never a goal, it just became a reality because how good I was. There was never any real effort behind, okay, I want to go to this university because I want to become an engineer or I want to become a psychologist. This was, hey, you've been playing basketball since you were 7. They're going to give you a scholarship to go here and make money for them. Why don't you go? So in the process of all that, I never had an opportunity to get a real education because a part of the athlete's persona and a part of the athlete's journey is to be an entertainer. We are branded to be entertainers. And the moment that I got to the NBA, I was a 19-year-old kid with millions of dollars. Who's prepared for that? And if my family had never been millionaires, how can my family prepare me for that?
Right.
So in the reality of being a young black male or a young African American male trying to figure life out at 19 years old, who do you turn to? At that point, you have to figure things out. And that's what I did. The 4 years that I spent in the NBA, I spent a lot of money. I took care of a lot of people. And at the end of the day, when everything was gone, everyone else was gone. And in those moments, just like in the audio that I just shared with you guys, in those moments you have to make a decision, not to make excuses, not to be dependent on someone coming to save you, because only you can save you. So in those moments I decided I needed a business. I needed some type of acronym. I needed something to fall back on. And when I was in the NBA, I had a knee injury that could have potentially put me out. And in those moments, I did a lot of reflecting and a lot of soul searching of saying, man, I'm never going to be the same. I cried, was really down on myself. And I was able to bounce back and have one of the best seasons of my career. But in that moment, I created a business and a business plan that if everything fell through and I wasn't able to play again, I will be able to have something to fall back on that I actually loved and was passionate about. I've been in the music industry for 14 years now. And I've been in the film industry for about 6 years now. All three have been my passion since I was a little kid. Tupac Shakur was one of my biggest idols. And so was Denzel Washington and Will Smith. And for me to be a three-headed monster, to be able to do all three very well, was something that I always wanted to prove to people that I'm not just this. I'm not just a guy who wears a jersey. You're not who people think you are. Always be the root. Don't just be what they see. And as the years progressed and moving out here to LA, as a kid from Asheville, North Carolina, I found out that the business world is just as harsh as the athletic world. It's just as hard to get through because it's all about relationships and resources. And I had a presentation, but I didn't want to, inconvenience them with, trying to put it all together. But relationships and resources in business is how you make it out here in Hollywood, out there in New York, in Las Vegas, in the international world. It's who you know and what you have to offer. What is your value? What is it that you bring to the table that makes anyone want to hear what you have to say? And my businesses, which I formed when I came out here to LA, was I had an entertainment group. And before I actually established that entertainment group, I had an idea. And that idea was I wanted to help independent artists have a platform to develop, showcase, promote, and perform. Something that's never been established for the industry. And with that idea, there's always a starting point. There's always a foundation that you need. And for me, I never understood or had the proper resources to tell me where to go, where to start. And just so happened, I took the initiative to call a couple of people that I knew. I wanted to do a music video, and ended up doing a music video here downtown. And I needed a resource for a location. I found a location. That resource had another resource that did event production. And that resource had a resource that could do public relations. And so in that moment of shooting the music video, I ended up in the next 3 days having a group meeting in my hotel. Not my hotel, I was staying in Beverly Hills, Crescent. And we had a big meeting, like a board meeting. This is my first. So I was kind of pumped up because I never did any kind of business seminar structured like this. And we ended up trying to come up with an idea that could launch my business. And I ended up coming up with a TV show called The Players Lounge, which could also promote, introduce, and allow independent artists to perform on television. And we wanted to make it real Playboy-like, kind of like Hugh Hefner did back in the 70s, where he had his penthouse, and he had Sammy Davis Jr. come in and introduce Sammy, and Sammy would perform, and it would be all great. So we wanted to have that type of thing. We didn't know how we wanted to do it. So in that moment, the production resource said, why don't we throw a party? I said, that's a great idea. So then at the party, we can actually sell the ambiance, and we could show the people a good time and let the artists perform. One thing led to another. A price point came about. How much this would cost for me to do this. And I've always been a big fan of whiteboards. And it's another point going back to what he said about cell phones. Cell phones take away our creativity to write things down, to voice things out. The universe needs our vibration. The universe needs our creativity. And what we're so stagnant on our cell phones, we leave that out. And so what I did is I drew up what I wanted the party to look like. Then we found a mansion. Then I found out that I had about $125,000 to spend. Luckily for me, this wasn't the money that I just had because I was an NBA player, because that money, that goes. This is money that just so happened came in. And I said, you know what? That's a lot of money. But in that moment, I didn't even think about it because I was ready to risk it all. Because this was my vision. And I seen it. I seen it, I drew it, and it felt so real to me. The only way that I could manifest it and see it through was to actually make it happen. And in those moments, we went and we looked at the property, and I said, this is it. We're going to do it. I have pictures up to show you guys of all this, but this is a point of me saying you have to have a vision in order to get beyond the dream. Because everybody has a dream of what they want to be, what they want to do. Martin Luther King had a dream. Well, we are still to this day trying to manifest his dream. Because it hasn't happened yet. So until action occurs, until you act on that vision, you're going to forever be dreaming. And so, as a consultant, and as an athlete, as an inspirational, motivational speaker, I say that you take your visions, and you take your dreams, and you assess them, you analyze them, because there needs to be a foundation. There is something called The Secret out there. I'm sure you all know about The Secret. It tells you, believe it, achieve it, receive it, right? So if you want to believe you want to get $1 million in the mail tomorrow, right? All you have to do is believe it, receive it, achieve it, right? But they're missing aspects of building things that you need in order to make that happen. You need a business. How are you going to get that $1 million? Are you doing something currently that can actually form that $1 million to be in check form in your mailbox? And that's one thing that I had to apply, was I'm sitting around waiting for things to happen. Because they say if I just think about it strong enough, it'll happen. Right? I just, you know? And then it just started, at first it didn't make a lot of sense to me, then it popped in my mind, it made perfect sense that I needed to form a corporation. And forming a corporation and giving it a name and giving it life gives that idea and gives that manifestation of that $1 billion a possibility. And in that possibility, you see and you become a testimony. Now you can go tell someone, look, this happened to me because this is how I did it. I created a corporation, I created a name, and I created a business. America is about service. You have to be in the business of service. And you have to have a product. Lyft doesn't have its followers and its employees just because it is what it is. It has a service. You have to serve. So upon having this service, you have to understand that you have to have the foundation behind it, which is filing a corporation, having a mission statement, understanding risk and rewards. You have to sacrifice sleep in order to get success. You have to sacrifice money in order to get success. Because it's as good as you think your idea is, there's someone with a better idea. Where there's a hater that's like, that's okay. You know, they told Zuckerberg, yeah. They told the guys from Google, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's all right. You know, those people on their phone be like, man, I got a good idea. What you think about this? Oh, it's all right, man, whatever. Or are you going to say, yeah, you're right. It ain't that good. Those are the people who are toxic. You got to be around people to build you up. People who are in the mastermind mind frame as you are. I have an idea and I want to do it. What do you think about it? Let's do it. Let's write it down first. Why? What's the name of it? How are we going to make it possible? Got to build it. So in my career, throughout the 4 years, 5 years that I played in the NBA, and since then I've been in billion-dollar meetings with billion-dollar corporate conversations where I've always aspired to say, man, I'm way more than an athlete. Just like you're way more than a worker. This is an entrepreneur seminar for people who are their own bosses. So when you're more than a worker, that lets you know you can be your own. You can create your own. And this is what it's all about. So with that being said, I have a consulting agency called Rain & Associates. And Rain & Associates is for entertainment and sports. And I have a foundation called the Heroes Foundation. And the Heroes Foundation is predicated to giving financial aid to those artists, music artists, athletes, and entertainers who find it the hardest to get over their roadblocks because of their financial situations. So what we do is we raise money to help those artists get studio time, get music lessons. Those athletes get training sessions, get good development coaches. Those filmmakers to get good equipment to film, places and locations, things of that nature. So to put two and two together, we help create corporations for our clients so that they know that corporations only do business with corporations. And that's the biggest miseducation that we have as people. We try to understand why this person has a business and why this person doesn't, because this person doesn't understand that corporations only do business with corporations. They only entertain you if you have a business. So saying it is not really going to get it done anymore. We all have to do it. And you all have to reach out and not be afraid to ask people how. Pride is the biggest killer in our country. Ask how to do it. Don't be afraid. It doesn't make you look stupid. It makes you look passionate about growing. And that's the biggest difference. I want to thank you for my time.
Thank you. So our next speaker, we're going to have, thank you guys for being so patient.